companies tend to compete more because they say, you fit the profile of the type of customers we want, and therefore we're going to compete for your business. And the bottom line in those kind of circumstances mean we get a better deal. So this is the kind of information, not complete, but just a snapshot of it, that needs to be available, that doesn't give away our identity, but in fact helps resolve this problem by giving ideas of things of what may be meaningful to individuals. And again, we don't always express the intent. We often go and buy things that we have no intention of purchasing because we have money burning a hole in our pocket. So things become of interest to us because our friends like them, or we hear about it, or it fits our time of life, or who we believe we are as individuals, and that's why we get marketed to in that way. And if this kind of information helps accomplish that, and you're satisfied with your purchase, all those things make it easier and nicer for us to deliver the message. Yep, thanks. So here's what I believe, and we can have some questions and comments because I think we're going to have enough time, but some things that we should think about enabling as people. As we, as technologists, try to solve this problem, what should we do? I think that people should be enabled to browse online securely and anonymously, while at the same time experiencing a personalized web experience. Now, that's only available today through cookies, multiple signs-on, and nefarious tracking technologies. But again, if you have the belief that you can provide or embed a link into your application, and that link allows companies or others to have this set of information available about you without knowing your identity, they could better present you an experience. I think that anonymous access to online and in-store offers need to be included as well. 95% of all purchases are still made offline. So if I could actually, go into a store without them scanning my eyeballs or asking me to give them my, purchase card or ask me, what are you interested in today? But I could go and represent myself through a mobile phone application or through a Bluetooth app or even a card that allows them to get a connection to my information without giving away my identity to present me valuable deals while I'm in store or discounts to keep me from walking out that store and crossing the street. I think that would be valuable. I do think that people need to enable tighter security restrictions when online without compromising their ability to receive the best offer. So these tools and technologies, I think an integrated platform or the ability to embed cookie crunching or IP masking or those kind of things, because these technologies aren't going to go away anytime soon, should be part of the solution or should be easily plugged into these services or accessed for individuals. Again, I think the ability to signify your intention to buy is critical, and we've talked about that quite a bit today, so that we can get a variety of discounts and we can get people competing for our business even to a greater extent than they do today. And I also think that you should be able to create, because of these personas, many times, as it was mentioned earlier, that females buy a majority of the allergy prescriptions for the household. You don't want to represent yourself as an individual. You'd like to represent yourself as a household. You'd like to do that in order to protect your children or any elderly that are in your home. But you'd also like to ensure that you get a relevant shopping experience where you aren't targeted just because you're a female or a male. You'd rather be targeted as this family, right, or this business, or this organization, or this group. And so your ability to create these profiles, not just of the individual, but the household, is critical. So businesses, as we think about this problem, this is what businesses are interested in and why they care. They want to increase their conversion rates, right? If they can increase their conversion rates, then they are spending their money more wisely. They want to be able to confirm this anonymous linkage between consumers and marketing accurately, during the registration process and during sign-in. They want to be able to dynamically personalize their content to every participating consumer, whether they're served offers, suggestions, rewards, or advertisements. They want to take the guesswork out of ad placement, search results, and they want to this track and target technology that's ubiquitous today and available to become just one out of the many tools, and hopefully over time, right, the tool that they rely on least. They want to be able to create targeted competition because they want to better understand intention to buy. Because you better believe companies who are successful, in the world are willing to compete, and that's what drives their business models. They also want to reduce the risk associated with the ever-changing consumer privacy environment, so that they can create a consensual and, if necessary, anonymous relationship with participating consumers that can spread from that spectrum of anonymous all the way to known in a way that's easy to be managed. And then finally, I think it's important that this technology is readily available so that all businesses can take advantage of these platforms or services and not have to have, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of budgets. But they can, in fact, join an ecosystem where they can compete on business based upon a platform that was created so that they can compete locally for your business versus a national retailer or an international retailer, and they can do that in a way that they can make a decision that based upon the geography of the individual or their intention, that they choose to participate in winning that business. So I'll give just a couple examples here real quick of what we're thinking, as we work through this process. So if we can get consumers to opt into identifying themselves, for example, with the bill of text, and we can embed a link into the Kynetx application, the browser plugin, instead of their identity, then we can actually publish information about them proactively out to vendors, and we can marry that information with offer databases that exist at the bottom that we already host today. And if we create an application, for example, that we call the Discount Network, and you type in, hey, deal me, I'm looking at a 42-inch plasma TV, and I hit the button, Kynetx Rules Engine can send that information back, so now we have intention. Because we have a link inside that browser, we have identity at the persona level. That information goes down here, it hits the ability technology base, and we can link that then with all the associative data that I showed you so that the businesses can use their rules engines to determine, is this the kind of person I want based upon their location, their time of life, their income level, et cetera. Do I want to compete for that business? Do they fit into my decile of where I'm trying to target market? We can then hit their offer databases and immediately send back to them a list of offers or coupons to try to get them to come to my store versus somebody else's. So, you can proactively register in these kind of environments for coupons as an example. You could scan barcodes and try to get the best deal possible within this network so that people are competing on specific devices. There's a search query that basically allows you to look at the deals that are proactively being sent out from different advertisers as an example. And finally, there's a deal me, like we said. If I want to buy something for $100, I get $100 burning in my pocket, why can't I throw a $100 thing in there and tell deal me, and I can look for all the things that I can buy for $100 today because people want to sell their products to me. This is just one example of how you can embed a level of identity that still allows people to be anonymous, but allows you to connect to the information that's relevant about them that marketers need, and you create an environment where multiple businesses have offers available to respond to you. There's potentially some interest that makes it valuable for the end user. Another example of this, you go to Amazon. If this technology was available, they could read your browser plugins, take the alphanumeric code out of your browser plugin. Today, when you don't log into Amazon, you get generic ads. You get what other people like, and you get stuff that they're selling, but you don't necessarily get what you want. But if they could actually read this link out of their browser application, run that against their back-end databases of the information that we already linked with information, you could do two things. Your stated intent on the left-hand side could show you that I have the intention to buy laptops and fitness equipment, and they could actively pursue that for you today. Second to that, you could actually look at the background information that I said that showed that I was an avid book reader. I'm actually in the income range of people who can afford Kindles, as an example. And in fact, I'm in a time of the season where it's winter, so boots might be good for me. And they can actually provide incremental information outside of my intention that may be relevant to me. So we called this, as we've worked with Kynetx guys, My Sidewalk. The concept here is, as you've seen with the Kynetx platform, some of the dangers that I saw as it relates to what's in it for businesses is that the ability to inject a competitor's content into your website turns businesses off. I'll just be honest. And so we've talked about that a lot, and we've came up with a creative idea. Just like you used to be able to walk downtown and choose the store that you went to, you can subscribe to the things that are interesting to you. The Houston Chronicle, for example, Cosmo Magazine, Harper's Bazaar, Good Housekeeping, O Magazine, and within context, the sidebar would flash and say, hey, these vendors that you've chosen to have a relationship with, that you've shared an aspect of your identity with, that you're now expressing intention through your interactions on the web, not really with their sites, but with other sites, are now able to provide you with relative content. That content could be mashed up, as we talked about already, from paid subscriptions or free content. It could be presented to the reader anywhere on the web, whether it's on their iPad or their mobile phone or on their web browser. And it's capable of targeted advertising, as just described, with sponsor slots available that could actually be resold for these media companies.